Hey guys, it's NW Sportscast back for another video. We're going to be doing our full podcast today. Let's get started. First, we're going to do our winners and losers, then some NFL power rankings and predictions, and then some NBA power rankings. And
yeah,
that's
I'm
about
super
it.
excited about this episode.
Yeah,
Let's just jump into it.
Okay, so winners and losers of the week. Drew, start with your winners. What are your winners?
I just have one winner. I think we should probably just do one because we have a long show today. But first, guys, subscribe. I'm just gonna say that first off, and now I'm gonna be going into my winner, which is the Cleveland Browns. They snapped a playoff streak that they have not made the playoffs in a long time. It makes the Mariners' streak of not making the playoffs look even worse now. And good for Baker Mayfield and that organization, and especially that fan base who's been waiting around for something to happen. And I don't know how long they're going to be in the playoffs for, but, the first step, just like the Bills, is to get to the playoffs. And then, the subsequent years, you never know what's going to happen. So congratulations to the Cleveland Browns and the fan base especially.
Okay, Levi?
All right, well, for my winner this week, I know it might not seem like they're a winner because they did lose, but I chose the Dallas Cowboys, and here's why.
Oh, my
Because
gosh.
they didn't win the NFC East this year, but that means that next year they're not going to get the curse of the East. Next year, they could be a very strong Super Bowl team when they get Dak Prescott back. So that's why I put the
Very
Cowboys
strong. Okay.
Because
as my
they didn't win the NFC East. They're the winner.
Yes, they're the winners.
Interesting, to say the least. And Seth is on. Seth, do you have your audio connected yet? Do you have a winner? Okay, since
Seth is having some internet problems.
So I'll go to my loser. So my loser is going to be the Cardinals. And I think it's pretty obvious why. They come out, I forgot, are they 6-3 or something like that after the first 9 games?
Hear me at all, but my winner would probably be the.
What the heck?
Okay, yeah. Stay. Talk.
My winner would most likely be Browns, but I'm pretty sure Drew already said that.
Yeah. But what are your reasons?
Okay, my loser is I don't know what's happening with the Wi-Fi, but I'll just keep the ball moving. My loser is going to be the Cardinals because they were 6-3, I believe, after the first 9 games. And then they had a skid of 2-5 or something like that. Really, really bad for the Cardinals. Looked like they were going to make the playoffs for the first year in a while. Larry Fitzgerald is now going to leave, which I think he's obviously a really big icon for that team. So that sucks. On top of it, I really wanted Larry to have one more playoff hope. That's not going to happen. They're way, way too Kyler dependent, and you saw that when he got hurt. They really did not play at the same level that they did with Kyler, and I know that's for the same for a lot of quarterbacks, but I mean, this seemed ridiculous. They could not even, they couldn't even move the ball without Kyler. I don't know. They really had a bad second half of the season, and I think they're a huge loser where you look at Baker Mayfield and the Browns, and then you look at the Cardinals, and it was just went completely opposite directions after 9 weeks.
Yeah. Levi, you want to say your loser?
Yeah, so my loser right now is the Houston Texans, because as I thought about their terrible season this year, I now understand that they do not even have that number 3 draft pick. It's actually the Dolphins who have the draft pick. So the Texans had a terrible season and don't get anything out of it.
Oh, they
They're
traded.
my losers
Yeah, they
for this
traded.
week. Yeah.
That kind of sucks. So the Dolphins almost make the playoffs, and they also get the 3rd pick in the draft.
Yeah, and I'm positive when they traded for that, they were not expecting to get a number 3 overall pick with the Texans.
No, they were not. They were not.
So how about this? My loser is the rest of the AFC East, because they're going to be in trouble next year when the Dolphins they have this insane draft class from this year, and next year they're going to get another great draft class.
But the Bills are also really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bills
rip,
are
rip the Patriots and the Jets,
top
man.
gun.
The Jets needed Lawrence to stay in contention, and they just did not.
Yeah. All right. So if Seth ever comes back on, maybe we can ask him quickly his loser. He said the Browns was his winner. But let's just go into our predictions for this week in the playoffs.
All right. I guess let's go game by game. So Cody,
Yeah.
do you know the matchups,
Okay,
Cody? Can
yeah.
you give them to us?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. Okay, so in the NFC, first we have the Saints against the
I can look it up again.
okay.
Saints
No,
Bears.
I know, no,
Cody, it's the Bears.
Saints against the Bears. Saints against the Bears. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Drew?
I think it's pretty obvious. The Bears got super, super lucky to even make the playoffs at 8-8. The Saints are clearly the better team. Obviously, it depends if Drew Brees plays well. The only way I see them losing this game is if Drew Brees plays really, really terribly. Mitch Trubisky gets hot, and for some reason a Bears defense plays like they did a couple of years ago. Then maybe they'll get the win, but I don't see that happening.
And Kamara, the last game he did play, set some records. So,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
our
and
records.
Kamara's come back, so I don't see it happening.
And it looks like Seth's joining me
Levi.
here in my hotel
Okay.
that I totally live in. Right. This is definitely my penthouse, and Seth's also it's his penthouse as well. So
Your headphones are in
oh yeah, here we go.
unplug it.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll unplug it. The audio will be pretty bad, but
Okay, Saints and Bears.
Yeah,
All right.
Saints and Bears. So,
I guess I'll give my score now. So I think the Bears are like the Saints 2.0. They're like they remind me of the Saints except they're worse. Like they have a similar built defense, but the players are not as good. The offense tries to be like the Saints, but the players are not as good. Mr. Trubisky, he was supposed to be the next Drew Brees. He's just not as good. He's a way worse Drew Brees. So the Saints should pretty easily win this, I think. Probably like, I don't know, 30-16, something like that.
Yeah, the news is that Kamara probably won't play, and Michael Thomas will not be back either. But I still think the Bears will lose probably by a lot because we saw last week. I mean, the Bears are better than the Panthers, of course, but I still think that the Saints, with backup running backs, they can have Taysom Hill get a touchdown like he did last week, and
Yeah,
they can
Ty
still pass on
Montgomery
him.
got 100
And
yards.
they can still win the game. So I think Saints will win pretty big.
Yeah, I mean anything's happening.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, but I do not see this happening.
yeah. Okay. So next game, the Seahawks and the Rams. Drew?
Okay, home team Seahawks. I'm gonna pick the Hawks. I think that we're destined to make a run this year after 2 or 3 years of just kind of getting out early or not even making the playoffs 3 years ago. I think we really need this for Russell Wilson, just to show that he can still make an NFC championship or maybe even a Super Bowl. I don't project them getting to the Super Bowl, but I do project them getting this one against the Rams. Rams always give us a problem, except for last game. We handled them pretty well, but even though the Rams usually do play well against us, I see the same thing happening like what we just played them in Week 16, a similar type game, and I think we get the win.
Yeah, well, for me, the Rams are most likely going to have to play John Wolford, so that should be a very easy win for the Seattle Seahawks. And if we lose to John Wolford, then this just wasn't our year, and that would be that. But Jared Goff is most likely not going to play. He's still injured, and they're expecting John Wolford to be the starter come Saturday. So Seahawks did.
And if Jared Goff does play, he might be playing injured. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and our
That's-
defense has been doing very well, so I feel like this is probably, I don't know, I'd give us a 24-13 win.
So we all Fox.
Yeah, a pretty
Low
solid
scoring?
two-score
Okay.
win. Yeah.
Cody, what do you have?
All right.
I'd say, 24-10.
okay.
Cody, what do you have?
Yeah,
Just really
I
quick.
agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
You go
think-
Hawks.
I think we might score a little more than 24, maybe like 28 for us and like 14 or
Yeah. It's
17
possible.
for them.
We don't score very many points.
I think it might be 28-17. I think that's a good score.
All right. There you go.
And then so next game we have the Washington team and the Buccaneers.
Man, I am so tempted to pick the Washington football team just
after last night's game.
because in years past the team that is has a losing record in the playoffs, has beaten the winning record team both times it's happened. History is telling me to pick the Washington football team, but then again, you also have Tom Brady, so I'm going to pick the Buccaneers, but I will not be surprised, actually, if the Washington football team gets a win.
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, it's the number 3 defense in the Redskins versus the number 7 offense in Brady. We've seen Brady have bad games. We've seen that Buck offense not perform. Mike Evans hyperextended his knee. He's questionable to play. Most likely won't. There's injuries taking place, and like you said, the history is showing Washington team will most likely, or no, history says the Washington team will win the game. And if Brady has a good game, I think the Bucs can handle business. But if that number 3 defense, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and everyone else, the secondary, Fuller, they can just stop those Bucs offense enough, they can probably win this game in like a 17-14 fashion. I'm going to go with the Washington football team.
Wow. Well, I'm going to stick with the Buccaneers. I think this is almost a no-brainer. You got on one end, you got Tom Brady, who's the GOAT, and on the other end, you have Alex Smith.
Oh, you guys just muted. You're muted.
You have Alex Smith, the respectable GOAT, as well.
Alex Smith, who hasn't played in a playoff game for, I think, 3 years, versus Tom Brady, who the last year Alex Smith made the playoffs, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl and has also been in the playoffs each of the past 2 seasons. So
Yeah.
right now,
I think I'm going to have to
no-brainer.
go with the Bucks too.
The Buccaneers, and I'll take them to win pretty convincingly. I'm going to say 31-13.
The Bucs are either making a run or they're not. Honestly, they're not.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay,
let's continue
I think
this.
it'll be a close game, but the Bucs will win. Yeah.
Okay.
And Mike
Next.
Evans set a little record most seasons in a row with over 1,000 yards.
Dang.
He passed Jerry Rice. Okay, so next, well, that's and AFC. Okay, so we have the Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts. I think. Am I wrong?
No, you're right, I think.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So, Drew?
Yeah, if it's the Bills Colts, I'm going to go with the Bills. Bills have I'm going to make this short. Bills are a better football team. They've been playing better lately. They have a better quarterback. Everything's leading me to pick the Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bills just dominated the Dolphins, and that just proves to me that this team actually is legit. They beat a good Dolphins team, 10 wins. If they can get the run game and the passing game clicking, then this team might be unstoppable until the Chiefs, or maybe even if they beat the Chiefs. But the Colts, they have a great defense. Respect to them for making the playoffs in their first year with Philip Rivers, but this might be Philip Rivers' last game as an NFL player. So I'm going to go to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills as well. And this should not be close. This might be the biggest blowout there is in this first round. I'm thinking maybe like 41-20. Like, the Bills dropped points on everyone. Even the Broncos have a good defense. They dropped 40 on the Broncos. They dropped 50 on the Dolphins, and the Dolphins supposed to have one of the best defenses. They dropped a bunch on the Patriots. They dropped like 38 on the Patriots. Patriots are supposed to. So they get to play these good defenses, and they still drop 30-plus.
Josh Allen should be in the MVP talks. I know it's Rodgers and Mahomes and will be Rodgers, but Allen
Well, you know who else should? Derrick Henry.
Well, yeah, of course.
If I was the one running the MVP, it would be between Allen and
all
Henry.
time with 2.5K, 2K.
But anyways, the MVP, this isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about the game. So, yeah, Bills are going to dominate the Colts. I do not expect the Colts to even, second quarter, we're going to know that the Bills are going to win.
And it's actually kind of tough for me because a couple weeks ago when we were doing our predictions, I picked the Colts to go to the Super Bowl.
That was a while
against
ago.
the Raiders in the AFC Championship. That didn't happen, so.
That happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
The
I think that
Raiders?
when you guys were on the show.
The Raiders.
So, saying.
The Raiders.
Okay, Cody.
Okay, yeah. I agree with that too. With all you
I
guys.
mean, we were on the Raiders team for a while.
Next game is the Steelers against the Ravens.
Steelers versus the Browns.
Steelers versus the Browns. Okay, Browns.
I have
so the
Browns
rematch,
winning this.
Steelers-Browns. This one is interesting. What do you
I
think?
have the Browns winning this. I think the Steelers are on still going downward trajectory. I don't know. I really don't like Baker Mayfield in prime games and obviously the playoff game, but I really, really am tempted to pick the Browns, and I think I'm going to go with my gut and pick the Browns here.
As much as I don't want the Browns to win, Or as much as I want the Browns to win, I don't think they will. I feel like this could be one of my upset picks, but I already picked the Washington Football Team. That's a pretty big upset in itself. So I think I'm going to stick with the Steelers, take the 12-4 team. And yeah, I mean, there's going to be a good game, I think. Big Ben's got to play well, and the Steelers defense, we know, will lock up. And if the Browns still don't have their secondary back because of COVID, if they have anybody out because of COVID, this could be even tougher on them. And I think the Steelers will win this game.
I take the Steelers as well, for two reasons. Firstly, because against the Jets, the Browns lost, and they did not lead against the Jets after a 3-0 in the first quarter. So it's not like it was that close. They had to try to get a comeback in the fourth quarter. So that's my first reason. And my second reason is because last game, the Browns only beat the Steelers backups by one score, right? So
Yeah.
24-16. So I think if you put in the Steelers starters, get TJ Watt back in there, get Big Ben back in there, I think it's a close game, probably pretty low scoring, maybe like 23-20, probably a one-score game. But I think the Steelers will survive very, very like on the skin of their necks, but they will survive this week.
Okay, now we have the Ravens and who?
Ravens versus the Titans.
Titans, Ravens.
Ravens and Titans. So yeah.
I think this is the best game of the play, like the wild card round in both the AFC and NFC. I think this is going to be a really, really close game. It's all about, can Lamar Jackson play in the playoffs, and can he play from behind? And I think if Lamar Jackson does both those things well, I do think that the one thing Titans are really, really good at, and they did this to the Ravens last year, they can control the clock with Derrick Henry. They can make it so Lamar Jackson doesn't have the ball in his hands, and the Ravens defense gets tired, and Lamar Jackson has not responded well when he's down in a lead and forced to throw the balls and make chunk plays. But I think Lamar Jackson has been playing really, really well the last 4 or 5 weeks, and I think they're going to get a win. And I don't actually think they're ever going to get behind this game. I think they're going to take an early lead. Derrick Henry is going to be not shut out of the game plan, but they're going to be down, and they're going to have to be forced to throw the ball. And if I'm the Titans, I don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take the Ravens too. I think the way it looks to me, they are very hot right now. The Titans have been playing really close games, and the big difference right now to me is that the Titans defense has not been very good lately. Obviously, the Packers are potent, but then they gave up like 38 to the Texans. That seems a little bit unreasonable. So I'm definitely not convinced that the Titans are able to play playoff caliber defense. I think they definitely have the offense, but I think probably like 30-25 Ravens win.
Seth?
Yeah, for me, I think I'm going to have to go with the Tennessee Titans. They beat the Ravens all 3 games in the last couple of years, I think it is. And they beat the last year Ravens. He's a regular season player. He's not made for postseason. And I don't think we'll do it again this year. I think that the Tennessee Titans will pick up this win. And one of the bigger upsets, because, I mean, not actually an upset, but Baltimore is probably the favorite because of how well they've been playing. But Derrick Henry just needs to run on them like he's been all season, and this will be their game.
Okay, so now that's all for our wild card round, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So just to let you guys know, only 5 of the 8 games we were unanimous on, right?
Yeah.
We all
I picked the
Bills.
Titans too with Seth.
We all picked the Bills. We all picked the Seahawks. We all picked I guess there's only 6 games. So 3 of the 6 we were unanimous on, and we also all picked
The Saints.
The Saints. Yep.
The Saints.
Seth was the one person who picked Washington, and Seth was the one person. Or no, Drew was the one who picked the Browns, and Drew and Cody picked the. Not Drew. Seth and
and
Cody
me.
have picked the Titans. All right. So with that,
Yeah.
Cody, what's our next topic?
Power rankings, and I'm gonna let Levi do that.
Yes, our season finale of the power rankings. So here we go. We're gonna go really quickly through pretty much all of them up until the playoff teams.
Yeah, just speed through it till the top 14.
So here we go. Number 32, Jaguars, unanimous. Number 31, Jets, also unanimous. Number 30, the Bengals. Number 29, the Texans. Number 28, the Atlanta Falcons. Number 27, unanimous as the Eagles. Number 26, the Detroit Lions. Number 25, the Denver Broncos. What a disappointment they were. Number 24, the Panthers. Number 23, the Cowboys. Number 22, New England Patriots. Number 21, San Francisco 49ers. Number 20, the Vikings. Number 19, all the way at 19 now, the Chargers. Number 18, even at 6 and 10, the Giants. Number 17, the Raiders. Number 16, another unanimous pick, the Cardinals. And number 15, well, this is actually a playoff team, so now we'll get into our playoff team. So here we go. These are 15 through 11. One of these teams is not in the playoffs. You'll know when we say it, but the other four are. And these are the teams we don't think are going to go anywhere in the playoffs, but they still are in. So number 15, Washington football team. They're 7 and 9. They were 15th place. I get that why they're in 15th. I had them in 14th, but it makes sense why we put them in 15th as well. So thoughts on Washington really quickly. So 14 was the Dolphins. So do you guys think that Washington deserves to be ahead of the Dolphins, or do the Dolphins deserve to be ahead?
Yeah, no.
Well, the Dolphins won more
yeah.
games, which usually, I mean, you are what your record says you are. Yeah, they did make the playoffs, but they're in the NFC least. I think the Dolphins do deserve to be ahead of them.
Yeah, well, of course I think the Dolphins are a better football team, but the way that my power ranking this week is the playoff teams in my top 14. That's one reason why I put the Redskins ahead of the Washington team ahead of the Dolphins. So, yeah, I think the Dolphins are a better team, but this week I put them a spot lower.
I'll tell you this. Next season, in my preseason power rankings, the Dolphins are going to be arguably in my top 5, and the Washington football team will not even be top 20. So I know for a fact that next year this is going to be a completely different story, but right now it's just the weirdness of the East. All right, so now we'll get into 13, which was the Chicago Bears. And then 12, we have the Cleveland Browns. And then 11, the LA Rams. So what do you guys think about those?
The Browns are 12?
I mean, I think it's pretty good placement. Drew had him at 12. Seth had him at 12. I had him at 11. Yeah.
I put them at
I wanted
11
to
or
put
10.
the Browns higher than 12, but I looked at all the teams and I thought, do the Browns beat this team more than 50% of the time? No. This team, no. Yeah, I think the Browns are going to get a win this week against the Steelers, but does that mean I think they're a better team than the Steelers? No, but I don't know. I do think the Browns may have gone the short end of the stick, but honestly, like 12 through 6 are all really close for me. So.
Yeah, that's true. These are all really close teams, but I would agree that when you look at it, the Browns are just not as good as these other teams. And the Rams at 11, yeah, I guess that's just testament to their ability to win with a backup quarterback. So now let's get into the top 10. So coming in at number 10, we have Indianapolis Colts, who have been pretty much under the radar all season, I feel like, except for Drew's
They were
radar.
like number 4 one week.
Yeah.
Like,
You
they were,
only
like,
predicted
really
them
high
to win
one
the
week.
Super Bowl. Or go
I
to the
know.
Super Bowl.
I did.
The one thing I like about the Colts is that they play pretty well on both sides of the ball, but they don't play exceedingly well. They're another team that's sort of like the Saints, but just not as good. Like the Saints are one of the best teams who can play well on both sides of the ball. The Colts
They also beat
play
the Packers.
pretty good. Yeah, they do have that win. That was their best win, and also they beat the Titans. And,
So they show they can be good teams, but will they do in the playoffs? Looks like
not.
most people are going to say no, but they've shown that they can do it.
I'll say this: if they had the 6 seed and they got to play Pittsburgh, I would have probably picked the Colts to win. If they had the 5 seed, they got to play the Titans, I probably would have picked. I don't know. That would have been really close. But the Bills, I don't think it's that close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. Wait, yeah, Colts deserve to be here, I think. But this is definitely their spot. They're probably going to lose in the first round, so they deserve this spot.
All right, number 9, we have the Tennessee Titans, so right ahead of them. It makes sense to me, right? Titans won the division, but they both had the same record. Just Titans had, I'm pretty sure the Colts lost the division because they lost to the Jags in week 1, so they had a worse division record, which is a spectacular way to lose a division by losing to the worst team in the NFL. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say from my behalf. I think if Derrick Henry plays like an MVP level running back, I think they're probably a top 6 or 7 team. But
Yeah.
Derrick Henry every single week isn't going to play that well. I think running backs are
That's
less
not true. Derrick
consistent
Henry
than.
will play that well every single week. So
And I don't. Obviously, if you're down by 14 points, you can't run the ball in late in the third quarter. You're going to have to throw
yes,
the
you
ball.
can.
Yeah, but when there's 5 minutes left and you're driving down the field for a game-winning,
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
5 minutes left. I agree.
I'm just saying I don't see a good quarterback a good running back can't control the game as much as a good quarterback, and that's all I'm trying to say. Derrick Henry is obviously super, super good in his own right, but there's a reason why people pay the money they pay quarterbacks and not running backs, and their best players are running back, which is totally fine, but I just don't think they're in the same level as Josh Allen led Bills team or anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The Titans, to me, have a great running back, a pretty good quarterback. The receivers, not that great. The tight ends, they're all right. And the defense has been getting worse throughout the season. So that's where you'd wonder, can the Titans actually win a playoff game with this defense? So then we got number 8. We have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel like this is a little bit low for them, but I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, Bucks.
Yeah.
I don't think this is, I don't think this is
Bucks.
Well, when you
Bucks
think
are
about
a
it this
good
way,
team.
when you think about it in the way that there's 8 division winners and they weren't one of them, and they're still in the top 8. So I think this is about where they're at. Tom Brady definitely boosts them up, but yeah, I don't have any complaint about this. I think that's where I had them, right, or 9.
Let's see.
But there's 2 division winners
Yeah,
ahead
you
of
had
them.
them. You had
So
them
how
at
are they
9.
8?
You had them at 9, yeah.
There's 2 division winners behind them. So how?
Well,
wouldn't
there's
they be
another
seven?
there's another wild card team that's also ahead, but we'll get into that in a sec. So next we got number 7, the Steelers. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I have them a little bit higher than this, but it totally makes sense to have the Steelers at 7. It's hard to know what you're gonna get out of them. They've lost 4 of their last 5, but they were 11-0 at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a funky team. They're up and down, but I think they're back up right now and they're playing their best football. They deserve to be here. That's why they're going to win a playoff game, maybe 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then rounding out or not rounding out, but the last one before we reach the top 5 is the Ravens. This is actually unanimous. We all had the Ravens
Oh, wow.
at 6.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
Baltimore. We all agree they're the 6th best team.
Yeah. Baltimore coming into the year was either the 1 or 2 team in the league.
Yeah,
maybe
that was the
3.
debate at the start, right?
Yeah, so they did definitely fell off, but I think they're having their stride and their upward momentum at the right time of the year, unlike the Steelers that had their up and up in the first 11 games or so. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now we're into the top 5. Number 5, we have the Seahawks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Was this unanimous?
No,
See.
actually,
Hawks?
Drew had them at 4, Seth had them at 5, and Levi had them at 8.
8?
Yes.
You had them as the
8?
worst division winner?
I had them at
No.
8.
I have them as the 3rd worst division winner. I just put us
Wow.
behind the Bucks and the Ravens as well, but I still put us ahead.
Bucks. You think we play the Bucks, we lose?
Right
Bucks?
now, I do, because the Bucks have been much more potent on offense right now, and I don't know how well our defense would fare against them.
I'm not worried about our defense.
Yeah,
I'm still a little. I keep having flashbacks to the Bills game where we gave up 44.
Yeah, that's the Bills too, and that was like the first game back that
I
Carlos
know,
Dunlop.
but the Bucks have just as good of an offense, I feel like, as the Bills. Maybe not just as good, but they have pretty much as good. Close to
I
as
guess.
good. I don't know. I feel like it's really close. All 4 of the teams that I have from 8 to 5 can kind of be switched around. But yeah, I just kept them. I put them at 8. That's what I had them last week, and I didn't see anything particularly to move them up after the 3-point win against the Niners. So.
I mean, I don't know. The final parties are weird because really what it matters now is the playoff wins. And yeah, the Seahawks might be a top 5 team for sure. And because they're going to get playoff wins. Just, I don't know.
It just depends on if they beat the Saints, then I would put them into my top 4. but I'm just struggling to see us beating the Saints. So
Yeah, but you have them at 8, not even top 5.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I was just thinking like of all the games, us against the Saints seems like the least close game to me. But like Bucks Packers, I feel like that's closer because I'm assuming the Bucks will win, right? And then Ravens will play the Chiefs. That's probably pretty close, and Bills Steelers is probably close. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just down on the Hawks right now, but I just feel like right
I'm
now
not sure
they're
why you're on the
there.
Hawks right now after a 3-game win streak. We're playing really well.
It's just that I need to see more of our offense.
I
I need
think
to see more
that
of our
We're
offense.
playing
don't-
Seahawks football. We're playing Seahawks football. What do you mean our offense? This is how Seahawks usually wins games in the past. And you
Bro,
never thought about it like that before.
what is happening with your screen right now, Seth? Anyways, yeah, I agree with Seth. I think we're gonna win this way, and I still think Russ has it in him to get that game-winning drive when he needed it most. And we were known as the team to always play really close games, and I don't know why any game with the Seahawks in it would be a not close game. If anything, I think we'll lose by maybe one score, if that. I think we probably would get the win against the Saints, in all honesty, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think we will too. I think we'll make the semifinals and have a chance at the Super Bowl. I think the Packers will edge us out though. But other than that, man,
But quite
Yeah.
honestly, I think we just have different opinions because I think that we would beat the Packers but lose to the Saints. So I guess we just have reversal. We just have reversals on the Packers and Saints. So yeah, we got number 4 and number 3. Number 4 is the Saints. Number 3 is the Packers. So neither of these were unanimous. I have the Saints at 2. I think they're the best team
2.
in the NFC. You guys had them at like 4
Okay.
and 5. So yeah. And then you guys, we all had the Packers at 3. That was actually unanimous. The Packers at 3. So yeah,
really?
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that makes sense. Chiefs and Bills, there's only teams better.
Yeah, so then yeah, at number 2, we have the Bills. You guys had them at 2. I had them at 4. So
Yeah. Bills
Yeah.
are.
I think they have the best
Semifinals.
quarterback. I'm still a little bit worried that their running game is kind of just on and off. Devin
I think
Singletary
the
is not
Chiefs
really
Bills
that
game will be
good.
underrated. I think it'll actually be a very good game. Like most people are still already picking the Chiefs.
I think there's a
And
good.
some
I think there's a.
people-
Well, I still think there's a chance that the Steelers might beat the Bills in the division rounds.
Well, some people have the Bills as the number 1 team in the NFL right now on their power
really?
rankings.
Who?
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd?
Yeah, a few people like Colin Cowherd. By the way, we have about 1 minute left for these power rankings, but yeah, we're doing pretty well. So.
Okay.
Number 1, unanimous again. The Chiefs. They've been number 1 for me the entire season.
If I'm a Chiefs fan, though, if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm kind of worried, and to be honest. They played really close games the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think there was a stat that
Yeah, that's
they had
true.
like 1-score game like every single week the last 5 weeks, something like that. I know it's because maybe they haven't had as much to play for because their division looked like it was going to get locked up and stuff, but I don't know. If they play a really good Bills team, I know they've already met once. Maybe the Bills learn from their mistakes, and I would not bet on that game. I don't think the Chiefs are as dominant as some people say that they are, and I think lots of people are finally seeing the potential of the Bills possibly going to the Super Bowl.
If I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm rooting for Colts and Steelers to upset the Bills because I would much rather play them in the championship game than I would play the Bills.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, Cody is not with us right now, I guess. So, but with that, it's time to move on to the NBA and our local team.
We're gonna do the NBA. Talk about the
Portland
Blazers a
Trailblazers.
little bit.
Yes. So, Cody, you got any topics for us?
I mean, they have a pretty good record. What do you like? What do you think about them? Do you think they're gonna go to the playoffs? You guys?
Oh, 100%
As
in
of
the
now.
playoffs.
I mean,
I mean-
it's so early. You can't really. It's so early. You can't really tell. But like,
Oh, I can tell. Let me explain why. So first of all, look at the losses. We lost to the Jazz, who are 4-2. We lost to the Clippers, who are 5-2. We lost to the Warriors, who are a good 3-3. Who have we beaten? We beat the Warriors, right? Who, like I said, are a good 3-3. We beat the Lakers, who are 5-2 and have the best roster in the NBA, and we beat the Rockets, who are 2-2 and look not that bad. So it looks to
Actually,
me like
they're actually 3-3 now. They're 500 today.
the Rockets are 3-3.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Did they
Oh, never
play?
mind. They lost today. They're
2-3, right?
2-3, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, I think right now, looking at the Blazers, they don't really have any losses that I look at and say, gosh, that was ugly. Obviously, the scores have been ugly, but I think when I have to give them a little bit of a break because the teams they've played have been good. But
And to
they've
be-
had 3 wins that I've said, wow, they actually beat the Lakers. Oh, wow, they actually beat the Warriors. So to me right now, the Lakers are not the Trailblazers are arguably a top 5 team in the NBA.
And to be completely honest, we could talk about this during our power rankings when we talk about the Blazers, unless there's any big moves outside of how the
That's
team
true,
is
that's true.
playing.
I don't think
is there
there
anything,
is.
Is there anything like big news that's not about the team playing?
No.
Not really. Okay. So
Okay, we should get into the power
Yeah.
rankings then.
okay,
Okay.
Levi.
So Levi, do you?
Yes. All right. So power rankings are here for the NBA now. This is our 3rd edition. So bear in mind that I have the least NBA knowledge, and I have basically been going off of which games they've played, which teams they've beaten. So mine are gonna really throw everybody else's off. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'm gonna just read off 30 through 21 of our averaged out power rankings, and then we can discuss those. And let's get into it. So number 30, we have the Timberwolves. This one was it was close between 30 and 29, but yeah, the Timberwolves at 30. 29, we had the Detroit Pistons. Number 28, we have the Charlotte Hornets. 27, Memphis Grizzlies. 26, Washington Wizards. 25, we got the San Antonio Spurs. 24, Chicago Bulls. 23, the Oklahoma City Thunder. 22, the Toronto Raptors. And at number 21, the Dallas Mavericks. So
Wow.
there's our
Mavericks
yeah.
at 21. Dang.
And I'll tell you why. It's because I have them at 26.
You're really off Luka. I mean, I have him at
Yeah.
7. I have him at 16. I thought I was being kind
Yeah.
of harsh.
I'm
Yeah, I have him
sure
at 16
20.
as well.
I'm sure 26 is harsh for them, but the way I see it, I mean, they have 2 wins.
The way you see is you look at their wins and losses and you say, okay, they're 3 and 4.
But when I look at it, I look at the Clippers was an impressive win, but after that, like they lost to the Hornets, who are not good. They lost to the Bulls, who are not very good either. So
they
I
just
beat
beat the Rockets.
they did win tonight, and like I always have to remind you, my power rankings, I make them in the mornings, so I don't incorporate games from tonight. But yes,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like
And, the Timberwolves at 30. No way.
Yeah, nah.
2 and 4. They won their first 2 games of the season. Karl Towns gets out with a finger or some kind of hand injury, and he's out for like a week. He'll be back in about a couple games. They were 2-0 with him, and now they're 0-4 without him. That's not number 30.
Well, here's the thing. So I actually have them the highest at 27.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
Seth has them at 28. Drew has them at 29. That averaged them
Pistons-
to be the number
The
30.
Pistons are the clear worst team in the league. I'm sorry.
Well, right now I
Who
have
brought
to
that up?
disagree
Because
with
I
that.
had the Pistons at 30.
Yes, so
Me too.
I
I
brought
had them
them
at
up.
30 as
I
well.
have them at 22.
What?
22?
Wait,
The-
you have
Wait.
7, 8
The
teams
Pistons-
better than-
And here's why, because when I look at their losses, outside of losing to the Timberwolves, they've only lost to good teams. And by the way, they did beat Boston.
No, they lost to Boston by 1.
No, the Pistons beat Boston.
They also lost to Boston.
Yes, they lost to Boston by 1 and beat them in the first game.
Yeah,
And-
but how
and
do you
they're-
have
and
the
who is their other
Timberwolves
losses?
behind them when they lost to the Timberwolves? If you're going
Because-
to wins and losses.
I'm
Blake
not going.
Griffin's
I'm not
terrible,
going.
takes
Just
that
no. I'm
shot.
not going by
This
wins and. That's not what I rank my teams on. I don't rank them by wins and losses.
Honestly, I feel bad for your Pistons fan. Your rebuild's not really going as well as you hoped. I mean, you're gonna probably get Kate Cunningham, which is kind of big, and he will start your rebuild. But Blake Griffin, you're just overpaying that man so much money to brick threes, brick shots. I mean, I don't know what you're doing wrong. You're just doing everything wrong over there. You're the worst team in the NBA by far.
Wow, harsh words from Seth.
I want to say
for
it's
the-
by
for the
far.
Pistons.
I took the liberty.
And I think
of
most
looking-
Pistons fans would agree with me. I'm sorry, but
I took the liberty of looking.
And who knows?
at
I mean,
some-
yes, Drew.
I took the liberty of looking at some other lists just because I wanted to see what other people had to, not make sure that, because I haven't been watching every single team, I'm not going to lie. And they did have the Timberwolves at 30, so I don't know. I don't think that's as big of a deal as what Seth is making it to be, but I do agree in the fact that the Pistons are probably the worst team.
And who knows? I mean, when I look at their schedule, the Pistons, their schedule, it's still pretty difficult. So it's hard for me to know.
You can't really look at schedules in the NBA. Every team has a tough schedule.
No, that's not
Yes.
true. That's not
Yes,
true.
it is.
The Lakers have had such an easy schedule.
But throughout the whole year, every team has a tough schedule.
No,
Every
but
team
I'm just
plays good
looking. No, sorry. I'm looking at their next week of games. They play the Bucks twice, the Suns, the Jazz, and then the Bucks again.
Yeah, they're
And
gonna.
I
Those are all
think-
hard teams.
They'll be
Those
one
are
and
all
11.
hard teams.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So if they lose all 5 of those games, that still doesn't necessarily convince me they're the worst team in the NBA. Just because
They're
losing
gonna
to
lose all the games and they're
after
the
that,
worst team.
they get a little easier. The Wizards, Heat
No,
twice, and then Hawks
Like
and Rockets.
you
So
don't
maybe
understand.
at
In the
that point they can
NBA,
start
you
winning.
play. You don't understand. In the NBA, you play
No,
72
I
games.
do.
You're supposed to get.
Yep.
You have to get upset wins if you want to actually do anything.
I understand that.
You can't
Seth.
You can't just
I-
lose to the bad teams to beat the good teams. You're not
but
a good
Seth-
team if you
no,
do that.
Seth, I understand that, but this all I'm saying is that Seth,
No, you
I
don't.
do. Yes, I do. Okay, Seth, let me talk.
I'm not talking, okay? You want to talk.
So I think I do understand this concept. It's not that hard to me. When all they have lost to is good teams, that means that maybe they will, once they start playing bad teams, they beat the bad teams, maybe then they're average, right?
And to be fair, this is kind of an irrelevant topic, so let's move on to 20.
Yeah, we got to move
Levi,
on.
Levi.
Sorry, Cody,
Levi.
we got to, what?
Levi.
What?
Beating bad.
If you beat the bad teams and lose to good teams, then you're an average team.
And that means, that means that you're not going to do anything as an average team doing that.
But you're saying they're the worst team, and I'm saying no. Wait, maybe they're average. So that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying the Pistons are making the playoffs. I'm just saying I think they're better than the worst. At least right now, I haven't seen them lose to any bad teams. They've only lost to good teams. So, anyways, yes. So you have your opinion that you think they're the worst. That's okay. You can think that. And right now, I disagree. So, anyways, next 10. Oh, never mind. The recording's back. Okay. So I'm not really sure what happened there. Do you guys hear me?
I can't hear you.
Do you hear me now?
Now we
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
So I'm not really sure what happened there, but
Go to 20.
yeah, we're gonna
20,
go back.
20,
We're gonna go to the next 20 through 11. So here we go. Number 20, we have the Orlando Magic. 19, New Orleans Pelicans. 18, the New York Knicks. 17, Sacramento Kings. 16, Atlanta Hawks. 15, Houston Rockets. 14, Golden State Warriors. 13, Cleveland Cavaliers. 12, Denver Nuggets. And at 11, we have the Miami Heat. So there's your 20 through 11. I think it's pretty reasonable. Maybe you can make an argument to move some teams up and down, but for the most part, most of those teams I think
Alright.
are supposed to be there.
Like, you got to tell me, like, where the teams are at. If I'm
I
gonna
just-
touch on this.
Well, I just said them. You need to tell me again?
I mean, you can't really talk to just list them all in order and then move on.
Okay, number 20, the Magic. 19, Pelicans.
That's way too low. I mean, that's still kind of low for a 4-2 team. 20, I think they're a top 16 team.
All right. Yeah, and like I said, there's an argument to move them up and down.
Ahead of the Magic.
Then we have the Kings at 18. Or no,
Kings are not
Knicks at 18, Kings at 17.
better than the Magic.
So you're really
Not a good
cutting
team.
out right
They're
now.
gonna be an average to below average team.
Yeah, I mean, and that could happen. That could happen,
Is
certainly.
that-
Right now, it looks like the Magic to me are not very good either. I've completely reversed on the Magic. The last time I thought they were the second best. Seth, we're not getting anything that you're saying.
One, and they lose 2 games.
Well,
My big thing.
Well, I think what
about
Seth is
this
trying
list
to-
I have the Golden State.
yeah,
I have the Golden State Warriors at 8, which I think is by far the highest.
What?
And that is because Stephen Curry is back, ladies and gentlemen. He's looking like last game 62 points. Obviously, beat his record for the most points in a game, and I think
This is
what. And
This team is an average team at 8.
well, that's because they have Steph Curry, and I'm so high in Curry. I think he's a top 20 player ever. That's just my opinion.
and at
He's
least
the best
No, you can be
Seth,
high on Curry,
Seth,
but how are you
Seth.
going to put them at 8?
At least I'm not like
because he's
Drew and
32
grade
years
by
old. He has a lot to
players.
play for, and I think that Levi, he has scored 62 points. I think he has something to prove this year. He played against Dame Lillard, who lots of people think are the number one point guard in the league, and he proved that he's the number one point guard in the league. I don't think that's. I mean, it is obviously debatable, but to me, Steph Curry
Everyone knows
is
that Stephen Curry's the number one point guard in the league.
Lots of people said Dame Lillard was.
No one's
Lots.
arguing with that at all. Everyone knows that.
I would
That's
agree
not
that
true.
Stephen Curry
Who
is
says
the best.
that?
A bunch of people said Dame Lillard was number one going into the year. What are you talking about? Did you watch any of the sports shows? So many of them said Dame Lillard was number one because Steph Curry has been obviously playing enough. I just really, really think that the Golden State Warriors are going to surprise a bunch of people because when Steph Curry's hot, they're unstoppable. They could beat any player on any given night if Stephen Curry is shooting the ball well. He made 105 threes in practice in a row. I just think he's hot at the right time, and 2 people left. So you want to continue, Levi?
Yeah, so I guess I'll get into so I guess Seth's coming back out. Bad connection. That's been a problem all night, unfortunately for us. So now we're getting into numbers 10 through oh, and Cody's gone too. You know. Now we're getting into numbers 10 through 6. So at number 10 we have the the Brooklyn Nets. Then at number 9 the Portland Trailblazers. At number 8 the Milwaukee Bucks. 7 the Boston Celtics, and at number 6 the Utah Jazz.
All right, number 10 was the Brooklyn Nets. That's fine. I mean, they're 3-4, but Kyrie, like I said last week, Kevin Durant has played in their 4 losses. Kevin Durant has not been in 3 of those games. Yes, he's now out for 4 weeks due to COVID-19. Due to COVID-19 restrictions. But
Yeah.
Cody, no, just go get back on your device.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
Unfortunately, Cody is having very bad connection issues, and so I'm sorry about that, Cody, but there's no room for 3 of us in this hotel room.
We're done.
Drew, what are your thoughts on 10 through 6? I'll give you what this is my big issue with it is that the Trailblazers at 9 is too low in my opinion.
No, that is actually too high. The Blazers are a 6-7.
I have the Trailblazers at 15.
They're 3-3. I have them at 12. I mean, they have 3 wins, and then they beat the Lakers. They got destroyed by the Clippers. They beat the Rockets. They beat the Warriors once, and they got not blown out by the Warriors, but
Yeah, I was only like 20 points, I think.
it was like an 18-point game, but it was 6 points with left. So
Yeah. Where's the 76ers of this? Where's the 76ers?
I haven't come yet.
Haven't come yet. Okay, that's good. I don't have much to say here.
Brooklyn Nets, they can turn it around. They're definitely still a top 10 team, and they still might be one of the best teams in the Eastern
You had the
Conference.
Nets at what, 4, Seth, last week?
Last week I had them at 2. This week I had them at like 9.
You guys had them at 9. I dropped them down to 10 I'm surprised that from me having them at 18, that only dropped them from 9 to 10.
Well, having them at 18 is kind of low.
Yeah, I get that.
Once
it's
again,
low.
you look at just the record. And
No,
you saw 3 and
I
4.
did not.
Well,
No, that's not true.
what is true?
I look at
When
which
Spurs
teams.
lost without Kevin Durant,
No,
how's that?
Seth. I look at which teams they beat and which teams they lost to. That's what I look at. I don't look at record, right? That's a myth. He thinks I look at record. I don't.
That's
I
a
look at
myth.
which
Last
team
week's pretty dumb then.
and which team
But
they
yes,
lost
but when
to.
you lose the games, when Kevin Durant isn't playing, and when he is playing, you're not blowing teams up, you're beating teams.
Well, if Kevin Durant can't play every other game, then they're gonna go what? They're gonna go have a 500 record.
Like when it's in crunch time down the stretch, he's going to play every game.
Yeah, okay. And
You
when
don't
that
seem
happens,
to
I'll
actually
lift them up.
know much about the
And
NBA
when that
game,
happens,
right?
well, I don't. I've already admitted that. And when he starts playing more than every team, then I'll probably move them up. But for now, I have them at 18. I'm sure they'll climb.
Kyrie Irving is playing like the best point guard in the NBA. Like stat-wise, he is the best point guard.
Yeah.
But Stephen
And
Curry.
Steph Curry's better, but yeah.
No, but
All right.
stat-wise,
All
he
right.
is the
So-
Steph
Yeah.
Curry dropped
We have to move on. We really do have to move on.
61,
Getting into the top 5 now. So at number 5, the Indiana Pacers.
62.
Wow.
And then at number
Pacers?
4,
Pacers are
this
10.
is probably a shocker to you guys, but the Lakers are at 4. Okay.
What?
Okay.
At
Okay.
3, we have the 76ers. Number 2,
Yeah. Joel Embiid MVP, you
the
know.
Phoenix Suns.
Oh
And
my
at number
God.
1, the Los
There's some
Angeles
serious
Clippers.
problems with this, Levi. First off, I know you brought the Lakers down. You
Yes,
put them
I
at
did.
18.
Nope, no, I did not. I put them at 14.
14, still.
14? What is wrong with you?
And who have they beaten?
Like, we
They
don't
haven't
care
been-
who they beat
Well,
then.
that's what I care about.
So you're just dumb.
I care about who they've beaten. I need to see a
Yes.
quality win.
Levi wants his show to be professional, and then he puts the
This
Lakers
is-
at 14.
Spurs, the Grizzlies. Oh, look at the
Oh.
Grizzlies, the Spurs, the Mavericks. Oh, they've beaten up on bad teams.
Yes, and when you're a good team,
Congratulations.
when you're a good team, you beat down the bad teams,
But
and you're
they-
going to start
but
winning.
You're dumb.
Haven't beaten
They've
the
only
good ones
played
yet.
2 good teams. They're still
And
5-2. They're not number
Yes,
14.
yes. So Seth, here's what my deal with them. Once they beat a good team, I'll move them up.
That's just dumb. You should be like, once they keep losing to bad teams, you move them down. You don't.
No,
When they're like, when you.
that's not my philosophy. You
Wait,
gotta
Levi.
win. They
So,
haven't shown
if-
that
That's actually ridiculous.
What
Levi, what makes you
What's
think
Levi?
that LeBron
I'll
James
move
is
them up,
going
but
to
I'm
be
not-
the 14th best team
I
in
don't
the
have
NBA?
the insider knowledge about all the players that you do, so I can't judge a team and look at
You
this.
don't know who LeBron
Levi.
James is? You don't know who LeBron
Levi.
James is?
I know
Insider
LeBron ain't
information.
I'm not just gonna look at a roster and say this team should be good, so therefore I'm putting them at one.
Levi.
Levi,
If they
hold on
went-
1 second.
If they went
That's that team.
82-0,
You can have some bench.
if they went 72-0, if they went
They're
72-0,
going to win games.
I agree, they are
They're
gonna
gonna
win.
And they-
I wanna
stars
see
Levi,
are
them.
resting, and they're
I-
gonna start
if they
winning
win,
games. They
Okay.
played 2 good teams.
Yes, and when they start winning, I'll move them up.
so Levi, if a team went
But Levi, do you
Perfect
think LeBron
and didn't
James
lose a
is gonna
game,
let them be the
and
14th
half
best
of their
team in the NBA?
games
I'm not sure
were
what you guys
not
are
good
saying. You guys are talking
wins.
to each other. I can't hear.
He's trying to say
Okay.
that if your team went undefeated, but half of their wins were against bad teams, you put them at the middle of the
No,
pack.
I would not.
Yes, you would.
No, no,
Yes,
no. I
That's
wouldn't.
your logic. That's your logic.
How would that mean middle of the pack? If they have no losses, they would be at the very top of the pack, obviously. But
Can I
right,
say my thing really quickly?
Right now, they have not
Levi.
had.
Their wins are
Levi.
quality.
Levi, do you think
What?
LeBron James is going to allow the Lakers to be the 14th best team in the NBA? No way.
And move on.
No.
Move down the list to the number 2 Suns. Let me guess, that was you again.
That was me. I have the Suns at number 1. I think they're the
Oh my
best team in the
goodness.
NBA right now. Right now. I'm not saying overall they're the best roster. No, the Lakers, I agree, have a better
Then
roster.
why put them at 14?
I'm saying right now. These are right now power rankings. Right now. Right now. The Lakers are not as good as the Suns.
So you're just doing your
The
power
Suns I have at 4, so I'm not as mad about
I'm saying,
that as the
at
Lakers
this
at
moment,
You don't think
14.
you're a better team, but you think the Suns are better than them.
Yes, at this moment, I think the Suns are better than them.
How do you know the Lakers are a better team?
Because
That makes
if
no sense.
you look at the
The Lakers
roster,
are better, but the Suns are
I'm saying,
ahead.
if you look at the roster, but look, who have the Suns have beaten the Kings, who've started off pretty well. They beat the Jazz, who started off pretty well. They have lost 1 game, or they've lost 2 games. The Kings, which is I can see why the Kings have been doing good, and the Clippers, who are the best team.
So how do you have the Suns
according
ahead of the
to our
Clippers
power
then? How do you have the Suns ahead of the
No,
Clippers?
no, I'm saying in our power rankings combined. I think the Suns are better than the Clippers.
That's what I'm saying.
'cause
How
the
do
Clippers-
you have the Suns ahead of the Clippers?
The reason
Clippers have the same
that
record,
I
they beat them.
Here's why. Because the
Yes,
Clippers
they lost to the
50.
Mavericks.
They
Wow,
lost-
big
no, they
deal.
lost by 50 to a 2-4 team. That's why I put the Clippers behind the Suns.
You know the Mavericks are still a good team, Levi.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Really?
Or at least you should if you know anything about the NBA.
Well, I put them at 26, so I don't think.
Yeah, obviously you don't know anything about the NBA.
No, I look at which teams.
Luka is going to get that team to the playoffs. No way Luka isn't going to the playoffs this year.
Well, so far, when
So
you've
far,
lost
that
to the
team is still
Hornets,
going
the
to the
Bulls. Okay, start beating the bad teams.
You're
then.
you're the opposite of you in the NFL. This week you're like, you see a good team that loses a couple games to start the season, and you're like, 14 for the Lakers because they lost 2.
No, not because they lost 2, because they can't beat. No, because they
Gosh.
haven't beat any good teams yet. That's what I'm
Ridiculous.
saying.
You are ridiculous.
And
And 76 at 3.
Like I said, I'm admitting this. Don't know as much
Shut up.
about the NBA.
76 at 3. That's
But-
fine. Where were the
But
Milwaukee-
Levi, to me, an overreaction would be
Bucks were
having the
at
Lakers
7,
at 4.
Bucks are
You
at
have the Lakers at 14. What the heck?
Hold on, go back to that list. You had 76 at 3.
And I think that just proves that I don't care about record, because they are 5-2.
Hey guys, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Sixers at number 3. That's fair. I mean, they're 6-2, beating teams that they should. Yeah, they lost a couple to the teams that they should beat, but they're still looking like a great team. And where'd you guys have the Celtics at?
The Celtics ended up at number 7. Okay,
Okay.
so the Bucks were at 8.
Bucks were at 8.
Yeah,
That's
Bucks
still
were
kind of low. I mean, Celtics are 5-3, Bucks are 4-3, and then number 2 was Suns. Number 1 was the Clippers, 5-2 Clippers. That's fair.
I mean, you have to agree the Clippers at number 1 is not bad, right?
I mean, no,
There's an
that's
argument to
fine.
be made that the Clippers
That's
are better
fine.
than the Lakers.
I like the top 4. The Pacers should definitely not be there. It should be the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics
Okay.
or the Utah Jazz.
So all
So
that.
how did the Pacers get at 5? Levi put them at like number 2.
But it was your Lakers at 14. I was talking about you.
And like
How'd the Pacers get at number
But
You
5?
should like not count your averages.
all I'm saying, when the Lakers start doing better, and not necessarily doing better, but once they start proving they can beat good teams, then I'll move them up 100%.
They're 5-2. The funny thing is, like, when you make excuses for the Suns, like, oh, they lost to the Kings, but the Kings have been playing good. Whatever.
They have been.
Yeah, but 3-4.
3-3.
Yeah, but they're not great.
At the time I made the power, once again, I don't like that I always have to say
Okay,
this.
then they're 3-3. Big
They're
deal.
3-3.
Big difference. I mean, I don't know. Okay, and
Good
you made the
either.
argument about that.
Yeah,
tonight.
but
wins or good losses, so they're bad.
No, that's not necessarily true. The Kings actually have a couple okay wins, but
Yes, they
Okay,
do.
let's just move on. Next segment.
I think that's the last segment.
Mariners.
We're gonna talk about the MLB a little bit.
Oh yeah, do we have any MLB news?
No.
Well,
Blake Snell
why
got
don't you
traded,
bring it
but
up then?
Looks like
yeah.
guys-
Well, Levi told me to. Levi told me
Right now, where do you have the Mariners face? Where do you have the Mariners? Do you have them going to the playoffs right now or no?
no, they're not. MLB.com has us at 21 on their preseason power rankings. In my opinion, that's probably too high.
Better than last year. Man,
Too
I'm happy with
high?
that.
Yeah, I think 21 is probably too high for us right now. I don't know what to expect from us.
I do. Kyle Lewis is gonna be.
I think Kyle Lewis. Yeah.
It depends
But I
on
don't know.
it depends on how our young guys do. Do they continue being as good? Do they not? I mean, I don't know.
I think our biggest problem is our pitching right now.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about a field.
Felix.
Yeah, we need to bring Felix back.
All right. Well,
Okay.
All right.
minor league. So, all right. I think with that, we've wrapped up the NW Sportscast. So,
Yeah.
sorry
See you
about all
next
the
time.
technical issues we had. This is not normal. So, if you guys liked the episode, definitely leave a like, leave a comment, tell your
Yeah,
friends.
leave a
we're
like.
the Sportscast. If you didn't
Subscribe.
that's okay too. But just make sure to tell your friends. We're the San Francisco 49ers fans. If you didn't like the episode, so that's a wrap on this episode of the Northwest Sportscast.
Yeah.
We're getting these out in
Bye-bye.
segments.
Comment. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Put on notifications, and see you next time.
And subscribe.
I said
for 100.
smash the
Thank you for 100,
subscribe
by the way. Thank you for 100.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for.
Okay, end
That's-
it. Bye. See ya.